What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at Data Dash, and today is October 17th of 2019. Well, folks, I hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you are, and in today's update, we're going to be mainly focusing in on crypto markets, taking a look at Bitcoin dominance, the continuing shift towards altcoins, and then along with that as well, talking about some trades that I've made over the last 24 to 48 hours. But outside of that as well, a key thing that I also want to dive into is something we don't always talk about, and that is cannabis markets. A lot of people have been starting to look for value as we've started to see some pretty stark corrections in the industry, and I'm going to be giving my 2 cents on it, and I'll explain why in just a bit. All right, so let's go ahead, let's get started and take a look at crypto markets. So over the last 24 hours, Bitcoin has been relatively neutral, and even though we've been having these little mini upswings of a few $100s and these bump downs of a few $100s, we've been basically pushing sideways around $8,000 for Bitcoin over this period of time. However, ever since this decline, we have seen, as Bitcoin has decided to push sideways, or the market has decided that Bitcoin's value should remain sideways, we have been seeing a lot of altcoins, not all altcoins, some are still getting outpaced by Bitcoin or selling off harsher than Bitcoin. In a lot of cases, we are seeing a lot of well-developed cryptocurrencies lead the market. If we take a look across the board here, we not only recognize some big names here, they're in the top 20, but we have some of our favorites from Basic Attention Token up almost 9.2% over the last 24 hours, and Chainlink up 7.4%, Ren up 6.6%. I know a lot of you out there as well, fans of NANO, 6.3%. So these are some prominent cryptocurrencies that we're actually seeing do well in the market. And even though we're not seeing a lot of the top 5 and the top 6 up here, we're starting to see a lot of mid caps. And this is something that I always talk about on my channel. I'll be fair, actually, in the sense of crypto, I haven't talked about it in a long time. But I've always loved to look for mid caps, right? Plays that aren't too small and too high risk to where you're inevitably usually going to either hit the jackpot and really find a good project, or in most cases, it's going to be a failure and flounder or falter over the long term. And then I also don't want to go for large caps all the time because there's a minimal kind of reward potential that I have against Bitcoin in that case, right? There's a few that could double or triple against Bitcoin, but really I'm looking for 10, 20x plays over the next cycle. You can see a lot of those as we go through the list here that are performing well in the market. But anyways, going on here to take a look at the global charts, we can see Bitcoin dominance is continuing to decline. We're going to dive into this in just a moment on the actual chart. And altcoins continuing to grow slowly but steadily here as Bitcoin continues to generally push sideways, right? When you start to weigh in Bitcoin here, the market's pushing more sideways rather than actually taking an uptrend or a downtrend at the moment. So I think, again, this is starting to lead up here towards the fact that as we start to see Bitcoin pick up in markets, we're going to see altcoins following soon thereafter, either maintaining an equality in the sense of the dominance in this case, right? So as Bitcoin goes up, altcoins will keep up at a steady rate. And then eventually when Bitcoin reaches its previous highs, 20K, I don't know when we're going to reach that. I don't think it's going to be next week, but probably sometime in the not so distant future. Then in that case, we're going to start to see a correction in Bitcoin for the short term, and the altcoin cycles start to really pick up. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about that, right? I know I've been, beating this like a dead horse. To be fair, guys, I really think this is one of the more interesting shifts right now in the market. There's not too much going on in crypto that's really gotten me interested. And in the sense of fundamentals, it's the DeFi movement and the work I've been doing myself in my free time that I've been self-funding. But outside of that, really what's been getting me going in the market, what's really got me interested is seeing this continuous multi-week decline. And it's the first time we've seen this in a very long period of history. It's actually longer than the downtrend we had over here in the sense of the amount of consistent weekly candles to the downside. So what I think we're really setting up for here is for us to come down to this line of support down here. Actually, sorry, I'm on the logarithmic chart, so it probably looks a little goofy. There we go. Coming down to 58% here in the short term, which is a 10% drop in Bitcoin dominance. And I think what you're going to see is during this phase, it's going to be going to a lot of mid caps that are continuing to rise and are continuing to go against the neutral trend that we've been seeing in Bitcoin at the moment, and are going to be some of the bigger plays when we really step into a full-blown bull market altcoin cycle, right? Similar to what we saw at the end of December of 2017 and going into January of 2018. December of 2017 into January 2018. Want to make sure I get that right. So I'll go ahead and talk about why I'm confident about this, right? We hit a historic resistance range. All of our indicators still, the squeeze momentum indicator, the MACD, the stochastic RSI, everything, every single week is continuing to prove that we have shifted the trend here. And it's not extremely fast on the downside, right? This has been a relatively slow process over the last week or two. But to me, if I were to look at this as an index or an asset or whatever it may be, I mean, it doesn't matter how you want to view it. In the sense of technical analysis, this shows me that a trend is shifting. Lower highs, lower lows. Right here, again, it just looks like it's building up for a very steady drop here over the next few days. And I'm not just saying that because I'm trying to be biased about it, guys. If I'm wrong on this and this starts to pick up, I'm going to reverse my positions if it tends to be that the market is not going to shift trends. I'm not going to be able to push this. Like, this is a multi-billion-dollar market, guys. But the thing is, when I look at this, the thing I'm going to be looking for is for this to close below this low over here, as we did over in this range, and for us to start getting down towards a previous low range, like down here at 66%, right? I want to see that big 2% drop, similar to what we were seeing over here. These big red candles where we start to see a lot of market momentum go towards altcoins or Bitcoin losing dominance in some way, shape, or form, right? Again, I know it's been an environment to be bullish on Bitcoin for a long time. It's proven that in the chart here, guys. But when there are trend shifts, I do not ignore them. I definitely look for those trend shifts because they're the moments where there's the maximum set of opportunity in markets, right? And you don't always try to pick a top, right? You don't want to try to pick a bottom. But when you can start to see that a top has clearly come in, that's when I start adjusting my strategy. And I ride the trends. I've taken the vast majority of the game both ways. And that's what I do as a trader. It's the rational thing for me to do, in my opinion. But again, you guys might want to steer clear of altcoins. I 100% understand. I'm not trying to shill it to you guys. Trust me, there's not enough there's not enough energy in me to shill you 1,000 different altcoins, right? Again, I'm just letting you know about the projects I really like that I think are actually leaving an impact. And again, going back to my major point, these are only going to be projects that are leaving some form of an impact and actually have real forms of adoption. I've been talking about basic attention token. I've been talking about Chainlink, and it's going to help with the Oracle, the Oracle problem in the blockchain space. Smart contracts can actually reach their full potential instead of just doing on-chain transactions of value, not connecting to the real world. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the 2 trade adjustments that I made. I did close out of my BAT position, and I'll go ahead and show you guys real quick. And I do want to share with you guys as well. I'm going to try to build a system here where I can let you guys know about when I've actually closed on a trade. So for example, the BAT trade here, then again, this is a new candle, but it really has been well over about 48 to 72 hours. I just didn't get to mention it in the previous video because it wasn't really so much on, generally my trading activity was more about talking about the philosophy that Bitcoin is supposedly dead by a lot of people and a lot of the fear that's been going on in crypto markets. But I want to let you all know. So I have had for a long time an alerts group. It's free. It's a Telegram group. For many of you out there in crypto, you probably use Telegram. It's linked down below in the description. So if you guys would like to keep up in there, I'm going to try and get in the habit of when I make trades to post it on there to let you guys know. But again, it's just, for me, I'm keeping up with a lot of things. I do everything in-house here at the channel. I don't have anyone else working outside of individuals who help with managing the email, but it's basically me. It's a one-stop shop. So I try to keep up with these things. I want to be transparent with you guys to let you know when I make these trades real time. All right. And again, bear in mind, it is not financial advice, and don't follow everything that I do, guys. I notice that sometime in the comments, and I appreciate and admire that you guys like what I do here on the channel, maybe appreciate my insights, but don't let that be something that draws you into FOMOing or fudding at something, right? When I take partial shares, use it as one of many sources in this case to build your own opinion and your own financial decisions, okay? I just want to make that clear. I'm not perfect. For example, as a little bit of self-point of criticism, I was thinking that BAT was moving up a little too exuberant the other day. And again, this is where I've started to get a little bit more. I don't actively trade in and out of crypto markets. What I do actively trade is when altcoins start to really pick up and start moving. And to be fair, BAT's only gone up an extra cent since here, but it really did go up to like 20. I think it was peaking up almost towards 24 cents here. And I was a little too eager on taking profits. So what I should have done there, most likely, is a partial share, right? Anyways, what I did average into the other day, and I circulated some of the capital I took out of BAT into this, is Link, okay? Now, I'll explain my rationale for that. The reason being is that I not only wanted to average it into my Link position, and I did this all here at 241, but along with that, for me, the return at 241 up towards the height here was more than the range I was expecting for BAT to go to. Now, I could be wrong on that in the sense of the range it will go to. Maybe it might be even shorter, might be even greater. But the fact of the matter is I wanted to pick it up on Link here because this has been one of the best momentum plays. And this is one of the plays that I really see going into double-digit territory in 2020. And so far, it's paid off quite well. So we're at 246 right now, so I'm up about 5 cents per link. Pretty decent trade, even though I didn't pick the absolute bottom. It's not the objective. So all in all, Link is going to be one that I'm going to be watching in 2020 and is more of a long-term play for me personally. But again, I don't mind swinging it a little bit when I see opportunities in the market, when there is overt exuberance, taking profits on those trades, and also picking up on dips. For a more simple kind of trader, it's probably best in this case if you want to just trade the longer-term cycle and not stress about it. When you get these kind of corrections, you can average in if you want, right? That's what I did a lot of the time. That's what I did the other day here at 241, right? So again, it's a very simple strategy. Keeps it simple, stress-free. All right, so those are the two trades that I did on the market. Now I want to go ahead here and talk about something that I'd actually really like to do here on the channel. And again, you guys know me. I always try to experiment and try different things here on the channel. But one thing I really like is when you guys reach out to me and you ask me certain things. I won't always be able to get back to your guys' content. There's just a lot of people who reach out and are analyzing markets and asking different questions. But one thing I'd like to start doing is where you guys can leave comments down below, and the one with the most likes, I will actually take the time to look into and try to analyze. And I think it'd be a good way to get us engaging, leaving comments, discussing with one another in the community, but also making sure that I build content for you guys, right? So one thing, I got an actual Twitter DM from a guy named John. He's a really nice individual, and funny enough, I haven't talked about the cannabis space in a long time. He sent me one of the major marijuana ETFs that baskets a lot of the major cannabis companies, and talked about it looking oversold. And it's so funny because this is the chart he sent me. It's a shot from his mobile phone. You can see the line of support down here that was descending over time. And look who had the exact same line drawn on their chart. So I think I've honestly trained you guys well. I have gotten you in my mindset. I've snuck the Nick bug in your head, and every night when you're going to bed, you're thinking previous resistance becomes new support, and you're thinking exactly like me. My objective is complete. No, I'm just kidding. But in this case, it was actually very funny that he sent me that because I've actually had this line drawn for some time, ever since these two lows set back here sometime in January. And I've been looking for it to decline down here, and we actually got a pretty solid rebound here from $18 upwards towards 20. So a really nice little rebound in the short term. I was expecting we'd probably see some resilience here. But a question that John asked me was if I'm at the point where I've found value in cannabis stocks. Am I buying into the cannabis industry? And quite frankly, I'm not right now. And the reason I'll say that is because as much as there are some rebound trades in here, there will be. I have no doubt this will probably pop up for another week or two. I just honestly am making better returns in the crypto space right now, so I'm not really worried about trading equities right now. But when it comes to the cannabis sector, I will be eager to trade the next cycle. There will be more cycles in the future, no doubt about it, especially as the U.S. market opens up. And we'll see what happens, I guess, as the 2020 election comes around. I wouldn't be surprised on either side of there being a possibility of cannabis being legalized. Keep open to it, guys. It's a very big growing interest in the United States. It's very popular amongst a youthful audience, both more liberal and more conservative. Again, I think that's going to be the spark for the next wave, but we have to wait for that regulatory wave, that discussion to start coming up, and I think it's a ways away. So what am I looking for right now? Well, I'm waiting for the vast majority of the major cannabis companies to correct around 80%. So what are these companies? Well, Canopy Growth Corp. We've talked about this. This is one of our picks on the newsletter that we've been talking about in the sense of being short or bearish on the company. And to turn off the logarithmic chart just to get a little bit of a better understanding here, I'll go ahead and bring the chart back up. My thing's going to have to adjust here. I think that we're coming down to $10, around $10, which is previous resistance for Canopy Growth Corp. Along with that as well, I think that we're going to see Kronos, right? This was one that some of the big tobacco giants bought equity in. I think now that we've broken the trend line in the short term, this will come back down, and we're going to see this come back down to around $5, which was support for a while and is a big even level. And all of these, if you'll notice, are about 80% corrections. So as we talk about with crypto, there's a big similarity in the sense of crypto and cannabis and new emerging markets in general and the way that they move. They have very parabolic run-ups. And instead of the standard 50% correction that people look for, you usually get something like 80% in the sense of the decline that you have before buyers really start to come in for the next cycle, right? And it's nice if you can time these kind of pops and everything, but for the general sense, guys, every time we get these, it's followed by a downtrend, right? This isn't enough for me to get extremely bullish here, right? So the breach of trend line like this that was held for a while, especially considering that we are in a bear market now for cannabis, I'm waiting for those big even levels, those 80% corrections. That's the kind of stuff I look for. So I want to say to John, thank you for sending me that chart. It was awesome to see that a fellow trader was thinking alike, but at the same time as well, for those of you out there as well who might see eye to eye or maybe not eye to eye on these issues, I'd like to hear what you have to say. And down below in the comments, leave a comment as to what you'd like me to cover. Is there a specific commodity that you want me to cover? A specific analysis of equity markets that you want me to cover? A certain topic that you want me to discuss? Again, we can always tie it in the proper area of our videos, whether it's crypto related or traditional market related. But again, I want to make sure to make content for you guys. I hope you're doing well. And if you like the video, drop a like. It's always appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell icon to keep up to date with our daily updates and educational material here on the channel. Anyways, that's it for the video, everyone. I hope you're all having a great day wherever you are, and I'll see you all in the next one. Stay tuned.